TruVue podcast.
A bunch of different views.
Your boys keep it real, man. I really like listening to them, man. They funny. Yeah.
Son.
They really speak their truth.
What the hell was that?
You're.
But no, let's get going ahead and talk about why we are here. Jesus Christ, did you hear me say while? Why we are here. Mel, it's your favorite segment.
One of them.
One of them. Whatever you need. It is not time. All right, so today we are reviewing Martyrs, the 2008 release, not the 2016 because that's trash, 9% according to Rotten Tomato, but ours is not. Ours is fire. So, Martyrs, two young women who were both victims of abuse, I don't agree with that, as children embark on a bloody quest for revenge, only to find themselves plunged into a living hell of depravity, or depravity, depending on how you decide to pronounce that word. Boom! Tell me I embody that. I embody that.
Definitely a body.
What's this? What's that motion?
You know, just
What's God?
like what was your motivation? Yeah.
What was
you think
when
your cat died as a child? Let's try that again.
Where was I drawing from? Speaking of motivation and where we're drawing from, fam, Martyr. How? Why? When? How does this even come across your? Because you know, if you watch this with your mom, she's sending you to church the next day, right?
No, she would have the pastor come to the house.
Yes, with the holy water. Yes.
Right
and
there.
you wash your foot with the holy water. Yeah,
holy water, and she might take it back to like some woods type shit in Trinidad, and a rooster. Let's just say a rooster may lose their head, and blood dribbles. You know what I mean? So,
Wooly for Island Poda. Wooly for Island Poda.
Let's just say some shouting and some cowbells ringing.
No, man. It was
I'm
interesting.
saying this, and I'm picturing all of this being done to the television.
Bro. At that point,
Like y'all just doing a ceremony around the TV in the living room.
I beseech you.
oh shit, yo, you're not off. Mike, you're not off. I promise you. Mel ever tell you what my mom did the first time she came to and saw me after I moved here?
Nah.
Bruh, she thought I was on crack because I hadn't had a haircut and I had lost weight. So she thought I was like smoking crack. So then she comes upstairs and she sees I had a handle of Bacardi. And she said, demon thing, you know? I drink, are the drugs take you over? And she takes the first bottle of Bacardi and proceeds to start dumping it down the sink. I'm broke. Right?
Right, yeah, in college days, the early 20s, that's a fight.
That's a fight. Now she's in the sink. She said, that's it. Me over this. We're going to fix you right now. And she's dumping it down the sink. And my roommate, is looking at me like, it's your mom, but bro, it's half the bottle. And I'm like, grab her. So he grabs me. He's like, I ain't touching her. Like, we're communicating all with eyes at this point. He's like, I'm not touching her. So I grab her by the waist. He grabs the bottle and takes it and goes. I did get the ass whooping, but the Bacardi was saved. The Bacardi
Oh, my God.
That's brave. To this day, I will not touch my mother.
Bruh, I just hugged her. Like, mommy, please no, mommy. No.
God. I remember when I was a teenager and I started dropping a lot of weight because again it was
Jay, no, that's not what you just told us, Jay. Don't let them get away with that. Slim, don't let them get. Hey,
I'm just saying,
don't let them get. They just jumped his mother in the kitchen, dog. They jumped on his mother, man.
I'm just saying,
Mike, the struggle.
Hey,
bro.
you don't understand, bro.
I
started losing a bunch of weight in high school, and my mother came to me and she's like, "Yeah,
get pregnant.
you have AIDS."
Yeah. She went. That's where she went.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes. And then right after that, they give you a cup, a fork, and a plate. That's yours, and that's only if they let you stay in the house.
Yeah.
Only that
Wait, and some Vicks.
And some
And some Vicks.
Oh shit, yo! I'm telling you, my mom.
So Vicks for y'all is that tussin?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Vicks, children Tylenol, and overproof rum fix everything. What did I do during COVID? When I got COVID, I woke up every morning and took a shot of rum just to see until I got my taste back. Every morning, hey, I'm still here. It's my vaccine, bro. I ain't got to inject it.
I've been on a vaccine study for about probably 10 to 12 years. It's called No Dollar Menu. Goddamn.
Wow.
Yeah, that's my vaccine.
I swear to God. So Mark,
he's rolling in his soon-to-be grave right now. He's just like, they're all gonna die.
Oh my God, no man. Oh yeah, so Martyrs. When was can you recall the first time you saw the film?
Yeah, it had to be about, I can't remember what year Martyrs came out, but I think it was about 6 years ago.
2008 was the release.
What, 2000 what?
2008 was the release.
Okay, then it was probably about 6 years ago, probably if not 7. And it was my boy Steve Mann, who was a big TV director. He's actually done a few shows as well, writing and creating shows. And he was just like, "Yo, my manager just gave me the copy of this film. You gotta check it out." I was like, "What is it?" He's like, I can't tell you. Just watch it." I was like, all right. And I put it in, and it just like completely blew my mind. And yes, to all the listeners out there, Martyrs is an incredibly gruesome and hard film to get through. But if you can get through it, you will be very much rewarded as far as, especially if you're a filmmaker or artist, and you just see what this person did with like probably a nothing budget. It's a French film.
Right.
And what they do with genre and jumping from genre to genre in this film seamlessly, and just taking you on a relentless experience from the start, literally the first frame of the film, straight through to the end, and you will not know where this fucking thing is going. And when it happens, you're just like, "Oh, we're here?
Yeah.
This is happening?" Yeah.
Yeah, that's a Mike.
Okay, I clearly walked in the wrong door.
Yeah, exactly. At first, I thought it was a documentary. I was looking at it like, "Oh, this is how HBO."
How that scene after she was running? You talking about?
Yeah.
When they was walking through the asylum or whatever. Yeah,
exactly. I thought it was like, I was like, holy shit! Like this is like one of HBO's documentary that they're doing now, where it's like you have the real life people there, and then they're accounting it. And then as I kept watching, I was like, nah, this is a movie, but where are we going? No, I don't. And yeah, sounds were a lot. But I want to focus on the story itself, which is our short bus segment. Or you know what? Before we get into that, why don't you tell us like your overall view of the film? or first impression when you watched it back then?
I just thought, for me as an artist, I'm always looking for something that is taking the art form in a new place, revolutionizing the art form, doing just something new. I hate passively watching film or TV. You know what I mean? I'm always just like, just give me something. Give me something, because I'm like a sponge, and I want to create. And if it's not like
enjoyable for you though, like doesn't it feel like work?
Well, I don't think of it as work. I think of it as just as inspiration. You know what I mean? Okay. So watching it, at the time that I saw it, because of that second screenplay that I did, and that goes to another story which we can touch on later. But there's a feature that I wrote, and it deals with time and genre bending itself. Mm-hmm. And I was having a lot of issues just trying to figure it out. You know what I mean? Even after the first draft, this is after probably 20 odd different drafts of it. And something still wasn't working. And just the fact that this person just went balls to the wall, I was like, no, this is my fucking film. Catch up. You know what I mean? I'm just gonna go, and you are going to follow, because unless you're completely grossed out or completely offended, it's a rough film, y'all. If y'all are gonna go look for it, if you go all the way through, you have to be amazed at what this dude did. You know what I mean? And I was just like, yes. You know what I mean? It was just like one of those things where somebody hands you something, whether you're in college and somebody's like, just check out this book. It's called The Autobiography of Malcolm X. You know, I don't know. Oh. You know what I mean? Yeah. It just like blows your mind and takes you into a new doorway. And you're like, wow, okay. It's not even a definite thing like, oh, I can do this. But it just told me all those things that people said you can't do, you can if you do it well.
Are now possible, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mike, what was your impression of the film before we break
My
it
overall
down?
impression of the film, I watched this and it was one of them things like, man, what is this y'all finna have me watch, man? You know, because I saw the trailer online, and then I went and, tried to find the film. Yeah. And it was kind of late when I sat down and watched it, but it went from one of them, you was laying down watching, then I got to sitting up, and I was like, okay. And then you start leaning into the movie. Overall, I thought this was dope, because it, like he said in the beginning, this is a gory movie, but I felt like I wasn't watching like a gore fest. It was a purpose to it at the same time.
Yes.
And the way it was done, it was like, okay, how else do you expect them to, get this situation resolved or whatever, as far as like moving the bodies and everything like that.
So
I thought overall it didn't feel like horror, even though it's classified as horror.
Right.
It felt a lot deeper than that. I mean, you can almost put this in that Grudge type category. Okay. As far as horror, but it had a little bit more realism at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like when I say this is my type of horror film, I mean, as far as like, I like it when the demons and all that shit, like it's cool and it scares you, but I know it's very fleeting. My kind of horror films is where they take like everyday people and expose like the dark side of society, right? And I thought that was great in the film. And then just the pacing, going back to what you said, where the guy, it seems as if the writer, and this actually leads us perfectly into our short bus segment. This is where we kind of dissect the writing and see if there's any shortcomings in the writing itself. And if there's not, and it was just freaking perfect. But the pace I thought was interesting because he didn't hold back, right? From the minute.
Oh no, not at all.
Like I want to say, like right after that interview in the office where they're talking to Anna, from then
when they were younger,
yeah, when they were younger. From that moment on, when they asked what can Lucy remember, it was non-fucking stop. Like I kept having to pause it because I was like, wait, I thought this was an hour and a half. Like, are we done? Wait, there's more. Like I thought it was where most films today are wrapping up. This shit is just it's getting started. Like
Yeah.
the ebbs and flows were so far apart, and it took you.
That's a good point, Jay. That's a good point because it does say it's 99 minutes or something like that.
Right.
But when you're watching it, it feels like a complete 2 hours.
Bruh, and nothing is left, right? Like, I know, ask them. Anytime I come into we review a movie, I'm like, when's the sequel? Because I have questions. Like, when's the sequel coming? Like, I need a lot on answers.
You don't need a second one of this?
I need a second one. But not because I enjoyed it, just so y'all could fix these plot holes. It was like, this one was complete opposite. It was, I felt fulfilled. I took points off here and there just for preference, right? Like I said, like the horror genre is not my bag. Because if I like it, it's because it's too fucking real, and I already don't trust humans as it is, and I don't need any more reasons not to, right? But yeah, no, I didn't. So like the story I thought was a very challenging one, right? And do you think that we as a society are obsessed with the afterlife?
Yeah, I would say human beings are. I mean, what other choice do we have but to be obsessed with it? There's one guarantee is that we're all going to die. You know what I mean? Right. And even Soul, explores that. I'm an atheist. My mother doesn't approve. Shocking. Okay. Or any of the Caribbean approve. But there's nothing. But what I am obsessed with is the chaos of the universe. You know what I mean? Just to me, how lucky is it that we are alive? To me, that is joy in and of. I don't need any other spirits or
why are we constantly searching for what happens when we die? If there's so much joy in living, why are we, Mike?
Because it's the one thing that we don't know. We are starting to explore the Mariana Trench. You know what I mean? We're starting to explore, the moon and hopefully Mars and Europa, all that stuff. We can get to that. We know we will eventually get to Europa. We don't know what happens when that spark that is aliveness ends. That is the final frontier. You know what I mean? And so, especially primitive man, that has to be the biggest thing in the world. You know what I mean? It's even in primitive man, just like having to kill to eat. When you're looking at a deer and its eyes are slowly gets glossed over as it's staring back at you, knowing that you've killed it, you have to wonder what is going on. There has to be something that is happening.
That is happening, yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's what again, you think of Martyrs as a simple film, but I don't want to spoil it for anybody. But there comes that moment when you're, what I'm talking about at the end, when you're looking behind the eyes at the vastness of eternity. You know what I mean? And it's just like, I want to know what she says. I'm an atheist, and I'm just like, bitch, what'd you say? Speak up.
Yeah. I felt like the guy at the end. I feel
thought
cheated.
that was.
Yeah.
No. I didn't feel cheated. I thought that was the perfect way to give me the ending. I thought that was the perfect way to give me the ending. I think if they would have defined anything in regards to what she saw, it would have diminished. It wouldn't have been enough for you as the viewer. I don't think. I think you would have still wanted more from it, and you would have been asking for a number 2, Jay.
We do these too often. Clearly, I would have wanted the fucking number 2. I know you. But no,
and even to end it the way that they did with finality, like you are not going to find out what happened.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It's just like beautiful in a horror film, in a slasher horror film.
Yeah,
I wouldn't go slasher.
Well, it's a bunch of different genres.
What would you go then, Jay, if it's not slasher?
I would say was Dexter a slasher?
Yes, that would be under slasher because.
Okay, then I get.
Yeah.
See, slasher to me, I always think of like Machete or like
Well, no, I would say Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
That's what I was exactly what I was about to say out my mouth. Texas Chainsaw.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's like bloody and like flash and like rough. This was almost like this was a scalpel. This was like surgical. You know what I'm saying? It was like it's a sniper versus a fucking shotgun. You get the same effect.
But she did use a shotgun.
Huh?
I said, but she did use a shotgun. That's what I'm saying. This was.
You know what we mean?
Yeah, this was. My girl was in the room watching it, but she was like creating a playlist on her phone, and she had her headphones on. But since it was subtitled, she was still reading it. She was like, she low key ended up watching the whole movie with me, and was like, I don't know if I should have watched that before I went to bed. But the movie has that effect, like you say, with the pace to just captivate you. You're just not going. You're not going to be able to, to look.
It's not a multitask movie.
I'm honestly surprised that director didn't blow up a lot more because it was such a confident filmmaking. What's it again?
Well, I said let's give him a shout out now, Mike. Oh shit.
Oh, the name is
Pascal. I got that one.
Pascal. Yeah, Pascal Lawyer.
Yeah.
Laugier.
Shout out to him.
French director. Writer and director. He also wrote it.
Yeah, he wrote and directed this film, definitely. Do you think this is something that could be? Well, I guess they did try to redo it in 2016, and it just didn't.
Yeah, that's the problem with up until that point. I would say that was a problem with American horror filmmakers. They were more obsessed with the slashing.
The gore of it, yeah.
They didn't understand this guy was doing something different, which is now you're starting to see his babies come out, which is the Ari Aster with Hereditary. You're starting to see it with The Witch. All of a sudden now people are doing different things with horror. The Babadook.
Are these films or people that you're naming?
These are films. These are films. These are actually horror films. Some of these is dope. Yeah, The Witch was dope.
But they're different. They're not like the old horror films that it's just about. I'm just gonna do a bunch of jump scares. They're actually like The Babadook was about. I believe in the end it was about her depression. I think from losing a child, or I forgot what it was. And he was
I don't know what. I'm thinking that was that the one that was the canker man? Was that it?
No, it was this woman with her either son. I saw it when it came out in the theater years ago.
This came out. It came out in 2014. So horror. Yeah. It stars. Let me see if I can get some of the cast. It has Essie Davis. No one that.
No, you didn't know the actors.
No, I don't know the actors. No, I mean, like this is my area. Like, if I'm watching a horror movie, this is what I would want to watch. Yeah. I want to watch subtle. I want to watch scary. I want to watch almost like real life, right? Like, if immediately I started thinking of all the reports I've heard of kids getting abducted, and when she said the sentence, like, we found that young women are probably they're more resilient, right? And they can last longer to make it to the final stage. And I just thought about it. I was like, damn, like how many young girls I've seen gotten abducted just this year on like through my news feeds. And it brings you to reality whether or not you want to be there or not. The religious
what it got for me.
Wait. Can I just say this real quick? That movie I was talking about is Before I Wake with the canker man, and that was a dope one. Check that one out if you ain't. I was going to lead the listeners. Yeah, hung on that.
But like this film is basically about like survivor's remorse. You know what I mean? Having leaving somebody behind, and you going on and just knowing, especially with her, that she might have been able to rescue this person. You know what I mean? And now that spirit that demon is now, following her and attacking her. This time around when I watched it, which I hadn't seen it in Martyrs in a few years, for whatever reason, I just kept thinking about, forgive me here, like slavery and what they did to us and the trauma that we carry on intergenerationally from all of that, and what how they systematically broke these women down to try to get to this place of, what they were looking for. And I'm just, it's what you agreed before, the shit that human beings are capable of doing to one another is depressing.
It is.
Yeah.
But not defending slavery here, not defending slavery.
Please don't.
I am not defending slavery, but the degree of separation between what Black people have gone through versus what their ancestors have gone through is a lot farther than what this woman went through. And yes, there's the argument to be made as far as like, we're still going through it today. And so we're constantly reliving it and constantly going through the trauma. But for someone to be, it's easier for me to accept not being able to let go of the trauma of like leaving that girl behind, right? So when she left the person behind and her survivor's remorse, this is the ugly side of it. This is what every NBA player that made it goes through. This is what every successful person, every successful Black or immigrant person, this is what the survivor's remorse goes through, right? You kill yourself, you guilt. It's the cuts are you paying. It's almost like you paying homage or tithes for you being free. And when she said like, when am I? Yes. And when she said that, when am I going to be free of this? That's when everything kind of put together for me. Because for me as an immigrant, it's like I can't buy myself something unless I know I've done something for someone else back home first, right? Or I feel weird. My wife didn't understand it because my wife is white. And so she didn't grab that concept, but it was years. It took therapy for me to recognize, like, I have to take care of myself. I can't help them if I'm fucked up, and I have to like take care of myself first and make sure that I'm in a mental state and an ability to be able to give willingly. You know what I'm saying? And I think for Lucy, she never got to that point, and she never allowed her, even through the therapist. Therapy sessions, I don't think she ever made it there. So have you ever experienced that, like that guilt of not feeling like you feeling like you should have done more for someone?
Again, like you said, it's a West Indian thing. I constantly feel. I mean, I have like a career coach who's like, who I have to thank for, I guess, healing me of a lot of that. But even to the point where I would not give myself credit or pat myself on the back for achievements, because I have a bunch of friends who are still in the game, struggling to get roles or struggling to, be able to get into TV or film or whatever. And I do feel a way. You know what I mean? I do. And it's like I don't want to be like, oh, look what I got. You know what I mean?
Success is uncomfortable. Success is, when you really think about it, it's an uncomfortable fucking achievement. Like, there's a point where
not necessarily, Jay.
Okay, why not? Why would you say not?
I mean,
like, think about it.
Are you talking about more success or like recognition and fame type shit?
Well, success in the sense of like survivor's remorse, right? So when you're in a group, or when you're the guy that made it and you're the one that has the success, like, it's an uncomfortable place to be if you don't know how to like manage your colleagues or your friends not being there, or not being able to take everybody with you, right? For like what we were talking about, for example, with Lucy, as far as like she was a kid and she carried the pain of not being able to save that grown woman with her, like all the way to her final days.
Yeah.
And when she asks, like, how do I become free of this? You don't. Is my argument. And once you achieve success, you just kind of have to live in that discomfort. But you're saying
I think
no.
that's why she she did what she did when she ran out the house at the end, because she realized she would never be free of it.
But what about you, Mike? Would you agree that was the right word? Like, obviously not. That wasn't the right way to go. No one wants to go that way. But do you understand it, or how would you view success?
Well, I was just asking, as far as you were saying it would have to be a burden. I just didn't agree with that, because I look at, I'm not looking at the success as far as large scale. I'm looking at it more in a moderate sense. Mm-hmm. Like if you were a child born in the projects, you having a 6-figure salary and living in a 4-5 bedroom crib is success.
Right.
You know
absolutely.
what I mean?
Absolutely.
And it's not a whole lot that you can do for those who didn't, jump on the road with you and take that ride with you. I think that's a burden that we carry as Black folks, that we put on ourselves unnecessarily. You know what I mean?
You say it's unnecessarily.
Yeah. I think it's something that we just fight because we know the struggle of everyone. But it's like, you just heard this man's whole story. You had all the steps he had to take, all the places he called lucky. I call it, opportunity. And, he was already ready with his dedication to the arts his whole life. And so when he was able to freestyle that little joint and get that roll and take off from there and just start, grabbing, it was based on his already based on his work ethic, his own genius, and his will to think in that perspective. Because it's like, we go to school and graduate with probably, a lot of us 500 to 1,000 kids in high school. How many of them kids, fall off into these lanes of the arts as far as writing and acting and things like that? We don't have it's not a lot, you know what I'm saying? So if nobody was willing to jump on that lane with them, it's like, what can I use you for now? You know what I'm saying? If I do get a production, maybe you can, bring the trays of food or something. If you got a catering joint going, you see what I'm saying? But now I need you to get something going for me to even use you now. You see what I'm saying? So when you look, like I said, even in the project reference I used, there's not a lot I can do. Yeah, it's not a lot I can do for somebody if I just only making 6 figures and I'm doing what I can do to pay my bills.
Yeah, I mean, like,
more for myself.
And I think that's what Lucy didn't understand is, like, there's not a lot you could do. You were a child yourself. Like, you couldn't unlock, you didn't have the key. Like, how are you going to save her? You couldn't let her out.
Exactly. Which is why for our Crownham segment, she's my drop.
I think. Oh, sorry.
I think what it was that she didn't tell anybody.
Oh, so you're attributing the guilt with not that she could fix it herself, but the fact that she didn't.
She got out and she didn't get back to him. You know what I mean? She didn't tell him. She didn't tell anybody where it was that she came from, what was going on, none of that.
But isn't that the same thing that we have with success in the Black community? Not to make it racial, but like that's the same shit, right? Like you get out.
I mean, I can't say that, bro, because most of the people that are famous, bro, they got people around them that's working that they put on for a lot of causes. You know what I mean? Like even with my pops and shit, you know what I'm saying? He did his own business. He put other folk on.
Yeah,
that's why I love this film. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You wouldn't have this conversation with, like, some bullshit ass
Massacre 4.
Saw 19.
Exactly, right?
No, the conversation that these films lead to is usually what is a very big factor in how we grade them. You know what I'm saying? And just moving along, just to keep things going, our next segment is going to be the Crownham segment. This is where we crown our drama king and drama queen of the film, right? I didn't
Like,
really
explain drama king and drama queen to him.
So drama king is like the person we believe conveyed the role the best and was like a really good actor, right? Did what they were supposed to do. Drama queen is sort of like the over actor, the bad actor, the non, right, Mike? Like
Yeah, somebody
drama,
I could have did without, or they role was unnecessary, or
if they
something
weren't
like
in the
that.
film.
Or I've even used drama queen to explain, like in what was the movie we just did, Jingle Jangle. I felt they could have used the Jessica character more, Anita Noni Rose. Damn.
Or someone that was underutilized.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anika Noni Rose, something like that.
It's or a character that was underutilized. For your drama.
Underutilized.
For me, my drama king actually is Melanie Jampanoy. Lucy. It's Lucy.
Lucy.
And that's like
Lucy was which one? Lucy was the one that was little girl in the beginning,
that
or
was the little girl in the beginning.
Yeah.
And
the older, you talking about the older Lucy though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm talking about the older Lucy, not the child Lucy. Yeah, the older Lucy. And the reason why I gave it to her, I know it's kind of cheating because I'm using the main character, but I felt like she's the one that like she had to convey a lot of the story without using words, right?
Yeah.
She had to like let the audience, because the whole time until the end, really, I'm looking at it and I'm watching and I'm thinking to myself, what the fuck did she go through?
Yeah.
And a lot of that is based on just the facial expressions, the placement of her hair, the way she would like twist or configure her body, like in playing the demon and like and the actual character Lucy, like the way she just kind of interacted with the demon and itself, that kind of bugged me out.
Yeah.
And I just
and
thought,
you could not have had a successful second half of the film if she hadn't done her job.
absolutely not. Absolutely. Yes, you're right. If she was horrible, the entire from like minute 40 onward could have just been trash. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because even with that, I think Anna's character relied upon Lucy's pain to kind of drive her through the next part, through her part when she had to go through it, right? Like, because when she realized that Lucy wasn't crazy and the shit was real, that realization and that guilt is, you feel it more after watching what Lucy went through.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and how she conveyed it. So for me, she was my drama king. What about you, Mike?
Oh
God, here we
I
go.
would have to. No, I would have to second that one. It was tough between Lucy and Anna, but I think I would have to second that one. But since you took that one, I'm gonna use a different one.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with damn, what was Cuzzo's name?
Was it
the guy
at the end?
No.
Oh, Mike Shoot.
Mike Shoot. You already knew where I was going. He came in the room. That was dude who came in the room, knocked her ass out twice in 30 seconds. He put her to sleep twice. How you sleep somebody, wake them up, stand them up, and sleep them again? Yeah. I was like, man, he is enjoying this role too much. He doing this. It's too believable. Like I was like, man, this dude really plays this part. And
did you laugh?
One thing I do want to
laugh when he woke her up, like when he knocked her out and woke her up. Did you laugh? You had to. I did. Come on, say it. Come on, man. Come with me.
I didn't want to laugh, but it was like a loud outburst type of laugh. It was like, because I wasn't expecting it. It was like, and this dude didn't make a sound. He just beat her ass for like a consistent 20 minutes of the movie. Like, I'm like, what the fuck is this?
That was
so I would have to give, he did his job too. But one thing I do want to add in about whomever we choose on this Drama King part, the movie's in subtitles for us, but it's I think it's in French language. I think that's the perfect way to do these films. I hate when they do the overdubbed voiceovers. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I think that just really takes away from the actor's dynamic. But because there was the the subtitles, it does make you focus a little more, but at the same time, there's not a ton of dialogue, and that's something I also appreciated from the actors, all of them, Anna, Lucy.
Definitely made reading a little easier.
And say what?
It made reading the subtitles a little easier. If there was a ton of dialogue.
Yeah. Yeah. Watching The Godfather with subtitles.
An Aaron Sorkin movie, a French Aaron Sorkin movie.
For real.
Number dialogue.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. For me, it's definitely Lucy. But again, I don't speak French. They may be terrible French actors.
That's a good point.
You know what I mean? They may be the worst, but from what I saw and just the way that they were interacting, even in the opening scene with the family, it was just so naturalistic.
Yeah.
Everybody did their job. Yeah, and there was never anybody that like took me out of it. At any given point, I was just like, I don't believe this person. I'm just like, no, they're all doing that. But Lucy, you're right. Lucy did her damn thing.
Yeah, and I gave it to Lucy over Anna because I meant to mention this in the short bus segment. They never really clarified why Anna was following this crazy mug around. Like, Lucy was. That ain't enough for me, man.
Didn't you just say following the booty leads to success? Like Slem is a proof.
And following the booty put you on Skid Row too.
That's the other side. That's
the other side of the booty. That's which cheek is that? Is the left or the right?
So sometimes following the booty get you skinned. You know what I mean?
They say more than 90% of the man locked in jail is in there because of a woman.
Facts. I could see that. I mean, but okay, so then couldn't you argue that Anna also had survivor's remorse? Like it seemed as though for Anna, her therapy was working. It's just that, or what did work, right? Like she suffered the abuse of her mother or whatever, and she was there, but she was able to verbalize her trauma. She was able to like go through the steps, but she could not let go of Lucy because Lucy was the only one Lucy had in the I want to call it asylum, but like in the hospital where they were.
I
right?
Yeah.
So it's almost as if she did leave
Yeah.
So if she did leave Lucy behind, Anna probably would have felt like shit, man. Like I was all she had, right?
No, that's a good point. That's a good point.
Anna, I wouldn't say what she went through was survivor's remorse, but even having that one conversation with her mom, you kind of understand why Anna sticks around with Lucy because the mom wasn't there for Anna.
Right.
And now, you turn around and you're like, okay, I'm not going to do what my mom did. I'm going to be better. I know this person is damaged, i.e. probably her, in relationship to her mom, but I'm not going to, because even in the beginning, she was just like, I'm not sure about this. And she questioned it all the way through until finally there was confirmation, but she's like, I've got to be here for this woman. Now, granted, they did, they were doing some grisly shit.
Mm-hmm.
But
absolutely. So with that aspect of it, right? Like the fact that Anna's mom wasn't really there for her growing up. Do you you know what? I forgot the question. So let's just move on. Just like that. Just like that. It just went right out.
Did you have a drama queen in this joint, Jay?
No. Oh, okay. So this is bad. It's not really a drama queen. It's just somebody I was very happy to get that died. The little sister. That little shithead sister.
I was going to say the same thing, but I was just like, I don't know.
No, bruh. Fuck that. Little bitch had to die. She had to go. Somebody had to go. And it was her. Gladly. The fuck? Bruh. She was a torment for her little brother the whole morning. She lost shit at the dinner table. She wouldn't watch her mouth when the father said, watch your goddamn mouth. And then who hides and screams at the same goddamn time? Hide or scream. You don't hide and scream. That defeats the purpose of hiding. You irritating little words I can't use because you're a child, but god damn it, bro. Make better decisions. You needed to go. You had to go, bro. Real quick. Shout out to you, though. Great death scene. I didn't do anything wrong. Like Slem agrees with me. I'm just saying it. Slem, don't worry.
I agree with you about like maybe like
all of it.
Just to a point.
But then the rant continued on, and then shit just got really awkward.
My life. I'm always left out on the limb with you guys.
I'm saying.
I was like, wow, this dude's got some hate.
No.
I'm just saying,
the family in the beginning was all, you complicit because you here, you know what I'm saying? So I understood why all them had to get slammed. But I put my drama queen actually on Anna. Because
hot take.
Because of my earlier point. Like, why is you following this dingbat around? You see this mug is going to have you in some nonsense. Like this, I started to rename it, I'm in love with a crackhead. Because of how this shit was acting, man. I could never. I don't know if you could be my family, and I'm sorry, family, if you ever take a listen to this episode, you could be fam. I'm not dealing with this shit. No, you can't stay over here, cuz. Let me get you a hotel.
Time out. So wait a minute. We do this podcast together weekly, right?
Uh-huh.
Damn near for the past 9 months we've been doing it, almost a year now, right? You try and tell me we on the road, we doing the, whatever we doing. I'm going through some shit. You gonna say, yo, leave Jay behind? We gonna get him on the comeback or send his ass home? He ain't performing.
Jay, once again, I'm getting a little uncomfortable because it seems like you have in mind to kill a prostitute at some point down the line, and want to know if Mike has your back. I don't feel comfortable with this conversation because my ass is going to end up in the courtroom.
I was speaking in code. You didn't have to put it out like that. Like,
I'm sorry. Okay.
Just like I was just saying, bro. Like I'm gonna get in a little situation. I need my hands to get me out of said situation. I'm in a jam. You gonna leave your boy in the jam?
In the days of Uber and COVID, you better get your ass on, bro. I'm gonna drop your ass off somewhere. You better get to the airport. These flights is cheap, nigga. You better spin the wheel.
Yo, foul, man, foul. This is why black people can't get anywhere. This
murders.
Not helping each other with murders.
Yeah.
No.
So you don't agree with that? I'm off with that. I'm off with the annotate.
Nah, I could see it getting annoying, but I just think that I just felt like, it's like Slem said, the abandonment shit, like that abandonment trauma. I think I'm not trying to say it's the worst, right? Like I feel like physical wounds heal, but like the having abandonment issues or like feeling always left alone by people that were supposed to be there for you, that's the hardest one for me to get over. You know what I'm saying? Like because if you do me like that shit. So that all I'm saying, Mike, is that when we are in the desert burying the stripper, if you don't have a shovel,
I can't be a part of this conversation.
You're not dumping some sand there too, I'll never forgive you.
All right.
I'm just saying. Moving right along though to our next segment.
I'll
do that before this guys in case you didn't know.
What would you what would you rename the film then, Jay?
Are we at rename? Yeah, let's just read. Let's go to I was gonna say we had the Look at Me Now segment, but I really that's really on the shot, how it was shot, right?
Oh, my bad, my bad. No, go ahead, do the Look at Me Now.
Okay.
You right.
Do the Look at Me Now. So the Look at Me Now segment is what did you notice in the film, right? Like little nuances, maybe ticks with the characters, or like just the overall the way it was shot. Like for me, I love when a horror film or like a gory film is shot almost cold. It has like this gray, like gloomy, like even in the sunlight, it still reads cold. Like when they were in the when they were sitting at the table having breakfast, right? The sun was coming in from the back window, but if you kind of look at the rest of the house, there was darkness all around it. So it just looks like this is the only light in this house. Like right here is the only part of like sunshine and happiness and not fucked up shit. And the rest of this house, when we get into this part of the film, you'll see is just bullshit. So that's just something that kind of stuck out to me with it. And the fact that the milk was dated, or no, that newspaper clipping was dated April 23rd, 1983. Just saying.
1983?
1983.
Oh, wow.
So that means that was done almost like around the same time, like they were basically they were doing that shit to Lucy and then going back to their kids.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like, you see what I'm saying? Like they were living life as if they were
kids were about the same age. Well, actually, a little bit younger.
Right. Because I thought that kind of just like hit me heavy, right? We're having technical difficulties, but we don't keep rocking, Slem. What about you?
For me, I don't think I appreciated the verite style that the director used for it as much as the second. Well, not the second time around because I've watched it a few times, but this time around because it's been a few years. It's some really confident directing going on, and also I appreciated the editing. Because as gory and graphic as some of the things are in there, some of it is completely suggested. You don't really see when the thing happens. It's just about how shit is like shifted around, and all of a sudden, and there's this one shot that if this was like a Wong Kar-wai film, it would have held on that shot for 3 minutes of screen time. And you're just like, okay, I guess I'm watching this.
Can I guess the shot?
Go ahead.
Okay. It's in the last maybe 20 minutes of it when he has her after he takes her out of the whole stirrups shit and he has her like skinless and like on there and the camera is panning outwards from her.
No, that's not even it.
That's not it. Shit. Okay.
It literally lasts for like 2.5 seconds.
Okay.
Which was a bitch to set up. It's when she got it, and spoilers, guys, please, honestly, stop listening to this like 10 minutes ago and really experience Martyrs, with just a fresh set of eyes. But it's that moment when she slits her throat in the rain, and what's her name comes over.
She catches her as she falls, yeah,
and it's an overhead shot, and the rain is coming down like past the lens of the camera, and it lasts like that, and I'm like.
I'm gonna have to go back.
That's when you have a director just like, yeah, I know that she was dope, but that's not the point of this. You know what I mean? I'm just gonna hit you with it for like a hot second and then move on. And I was just like, dude knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing.
Okay.
See, that's something you gotta know just from working with the film. Like as a viewer, I didn't take all that into consideration, but it does give you more appreciation for understanding what went on with that scene now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like I said, that was the scene where she came to the conclusion, like, there's no escaping this. This is my demon. This is something I carry.
What about you, Mike? What else? Did you notice something?
Well, it was a lot to notice in this, man. The secret society thing, I like that aspect of it. I thought that was a great spin to it.
Easily my favorite aspect of the film.
It took it from more of the slasher film into the more like, yo, this is beyond, just somebody cutting shit up for nothing.
Right. And also like texture wise, you went from like this sort of like, normal home that's sort of, it wasn't necessarily a messy home, but all of a sudden you have this like antiseptic basement and everything was like postmodern. It felt different. You know what I mean? And it was fucking.
And,
I was just wondering how deep.
No, that's cool too, because that was already pushed into our heads in the early 2000s with all the terrorists. These people got the the dwellings under their houses. They they meet. They got the holes in the walls that connect the rooms and this and that.
Mhm.
So when they had that, it was like, okay, this fits that time period at the same time.
Yeah.
Watching her descend into the basement in the house, I immediately was like, this is how conspiracy theorists are born. This is the type of shit, like, because this like,
Pizzagate.
yeah, this is Pizzagate. Like, this is fucking Pizzagate. You see where I'm going? You see where I'm fucking going? Like, this is the type of shit that makes me want to drive up to fucking Barrington, knock on one of them houses with the big ass gate, and just be like, "What's in your fucking basement, bro?
Yeah.
Show me."
No. Real talk. I said this when I was watching the movie. I said there's nothing in the world more scarier to the black man than prison and white folks, cellars and basements. Hands down.
Or if you're in the South, those driveways that curve and you don't see where it ends.
Oh yeah.
You broken down.
Yeah, the hills have eyes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bro, that shit was uncomfortable for me, bro. And then I'm watching her descend.
I turned and said that to my girl when they went down in the basement. I was like, babe, ain't shit more scary than jail in the folks' basement, bro.
That shit, like, my stomach was in my throat by that point. Like, pause. Oh my god. Speaking of basements, you know what you do in the basement, right? So this is the Love Child segment, right? So here's where we take 2 movies or 2 TV shows and we make this baby, which is Martyr. So you kind of mash up like 2 things and then made that one. I'm repeating myself in 5 different ways, and that's kind of annoying, so I'm not going to do that anymore. But for example, my love child for this movie was Dexter, obviously. And I'm going to go a 3-way. I'm going to say this was like a little menage a trois, keeping up with the French theme. I went Dexter, Chef, and Platform.
Chef with what's his name?
Yeah.
Lauren?
The driver from Iron Man.
Yeah.
And I think John Leguizamo was in that one too. Was he? Maybe he was a friend.
Yeah. God, what's his name?
So the reason why I say Chef, right? Like, obviously you get the platform with the hierarchy of society and like how unspeakable the motherfuckers on top are. Like, when you're on top, you're just kicking down the food or whatever. And then like you get the Dexter from the goriness. But I say Chef because is it just me, right? Maybe it's just me. But when she was like cutting down the wrist, right? I just could not think of a tenderloin. Like slicing a piece of meat.
Mike, I don't know what to tell you, bro.
Wait, like y'all ain't.
God damn, bro. What kind of meat do you be eating?
You ever seen a pork tenderloin? Like
pause, but God, dog. No.
Yeah.
I don't eat none of that.
Like when you cut it down.
Oh, that's what the fat loaf for going around it, right?
Yeah, and then you have to cut that shit.
Oh, you's a nasty nigga, dog. You's a nasty nigga.
This is getting real awkward, bro. He may have gonna murder somebody. He may have done that already.
No.
Oh, you's a nasty fella, guy. Man, you eat the tenderloin. I get it now. Yeah, the tenderloin. I get it. Yeah,
yeah, like you. I
don't does it.
No, you gotta
subscribe.
You gotta cut the fat off the meat, like, or like country style pork ribs. You gotta cut the fat back.
No.
So like when you're slicing it.
Stop, Jay.
Yeah, dude.
We moving on.
Yeah.
Word.
Shit.
Just like you're turning into the BTK killer at this point, man.
Yeah, man.
Okay. All right. Okay. Maybe it's me. I'll take that.
Hannibal Lecter, cool out.
Seriously. I do not drink Chianti. I'm more of a Shiraz kind of guy. All right. I do not drink Chiantis. Oh God. Okay.
I've got to jump in like 5.
Yeah.
But for me, it was if Tarantino violence was in Michael Haneke's Amore,
Holy shit.
and then you add the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, you might have something like Martyrs.
All right. We'll make this a speed round. Mike, go.
All right, I got The Ring, Django.
Django.
Yeah, for how the blood was splashing in Django.
Okay.
And he said my other one, Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
All right. And then just to get everybody out of here on time, rename this movie.
I can't beat
Martyr.
I'm in love with a crackhead. I mean that's pretty I can't do it.
Yeah, no, that's the name of the podcast, by the way. That's gonna be the name. You kid, but you think I'm kidding, but I'm writing it down. I was gonna say the first cut is the deepest, but that's more of a someone's gonna land on deaf ears. I'm in love with a crackhead. Mike, did you have another one?
Beat you down to the white meat.
Wow.
Didn't think he could top it, but ladies and gentlemen, just when you think. Slem?
Yeah.
Please, thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh no, this was fun.
Yes, indeed. Appreciate you for being here, man. This was
where
great.
they can find you, what you got coming up before you get out of here.
Sure. Anybody can find me on Twitter or Instagram or Clubhouse now, since I'm a slave to that. Speaking of crack, at Anslem Asylum, and I've got 2 projects that I'm working on that I'm really excited about. A short that I'm working with 2 companies that I wanted to work with since I was a little kid, which is the Jim Henson Company and Industrial Light and Magic, about childhood trauma caused by police violence, and on this specifically about a deaf child. So the whole film is experienced through that child's perspective.
Oh, wow.
That's dope.
That's
so
dope.
Really. So I'm gonna do a fundraiser for it starting in February. But I've got like Eric Kripke from the Boyz is the executive producer, and I got some really nice heavy hitters so far that's a part of the team on that. And then that feature. Go ahead. Man.
Just to jump in on that, the case where the woman turned down the wrong street, I think it was in Philly, and they beat her ass out the car.
Yes.
Her child was hearing impaired.
Yeah.
So that's
she talked about the trauma. It all came from me. It came from one watching that Tamir Rice video, which the fucking cops sped up, so that people didn't realize just how long, what it actually did. That the cops, it wasn't like this thing where the cops just drove up and shot. It was a little bit, some more time to it. But it was watching Cameron Sterling at a press conference with his mom after Alton Sterling was murdered. And him just, as the mom was getting ready to talk before the mics, him just breaking down next to her and just bawling. And I'm like, we in this society, the cameras come up there and they're all capturing it and they leave, they go on to the next shiny object. Whereas these people have to continue their lives with this missing person at their table. This missing person who gave them presents for Christmas, this missing person that loved them and was the father figure to them, or mother figure. And I really just wanted, there's so much of these projects that are about, BLM, et cetera. But I really, trauma speaks to me, which is one of the reasons why I really enjoy Martyrs. So that's happening. And my feature that won at Tribeca, that I've been rewriting for like 10 years is finally moving ahead. And so probably in a week or so, I'm going to start working on the next draft. And got a company in the UK who's interested in coming in as a co-producer. And that one I've been waiting a really long time to finally get that going. And it'll trip people up. So imagine now. I'm not even gonna say. Well, I'm gonna say. Imagine if Charlie Kaufman could adapt the original Cape Fear and kind of get a sense of what the script and story is.
Okay, I'm scared. I'm a little scared, but I'm gonna watch it.
You had me sold when you get to experience the trauma through the eyes of a deaf child. That's fascinating enough for me to check it out.
Shit, man, that's gonna hit way close to home. You know the rules, guys. Slem, thank you again for joining us.
Yeah.
Appreciate the conversation. I appreciate the love. Appreciate the laughs and dealing with the ignorance. Sorry,
no ignorance. There's some crime possibly going to happen. Mike, just get out of that hotel, bro.
Right. No, yeah, Jay, you on your own.
Get back to
Please
your family.
like, subscribe, and share.
You know what we say, man. As always, thanks for listening. This is a TVP TruVue podcast. Go watch some shit, guys.